Well, good weekend. I'm Epstein with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap up, and what a stock market, right? And this is Friday, the 2nd of February, 2024, and my gosh, what a time. So before we go to the markets, why don't we take a look together and see what happened today? We had, as you know, during the week, we saw the Fed, and the Fed said, nah, they don't see how March is going to be in play. They gave you every indication. Well, I can come out and tell you unequivocally, March is not in play. Non-farm payrolls up 353,000. They expected 185. The unemployment rate stayed at 3.77. The non-farm, they revised up to 333 in December. Now, this was the time frame where you expect revisionments. It always happens at this time of the year. They left the unemployment rate at 3.7. The January private sector, look at this. This thing jumped almost 160,000 jobs. Wow. 36,000 more in government payrolls. You kept the participation rate at the same. And the traders don't like that. They'd like to see more participation here. So that was a little bit of a negative. But then you go to the pay increases and they're there. On an annual basis, some 266,000 less jobs were created through March of 2023. That's how they do this. They give you some numbers. So you have to go back, compare, and see just what that is. But as big as the surge is now, it's not as big as we had. Before revisions, the job count for 2023 had been estimated at 2.7 million. Those are big numbers. Now, we're going to get, come Monday, the S&P Global Group final January service sector PMI, and the ISM will come out with their service sector indices for January also, and that's going to be at 9. So those are the big numbers that you're going to get then. So what happened? Well, not every market went up. I don't know if you're paying attention to Google. Are you paying attention to Tesla? Right on down. People are wondering, what do you replace Tesla with? Because people just think that the market is running to the point where the problems are large. The market is now treating Tesla as a car company. And that took a decade to happen. Everybody was at first a tech company, and that's important. If we take a look and see what happened in TLT, well, this type of number should send the bonds and the notes down, and they both sank today on that news. So today was not a good day for everything. In the foreign currency market, sort of a mixed bag. China's number's still bad. China is telling banks, go on, lend money on housing, you'll be fine. No, you won't. The banks are saying, yeah, we'll do the reviews you're asking us, but they're holding back. When you have interest rates that are going to stay longer for higher and the dollar up because the economy is this strong relative to other economies, you hurt the gold market, you hurt the copper, you hurt the silver. AMC, again, back at that $4 mark I've been telling you about. And you can see how Tesla down 95 cents. Now, where the value is in Tesla, I don't quite know. You see that you did pick up in GM and Rivian, so it's not all the car makers that got hit today. I asked you for what market you'd like me to cover, and I had different people coming in. Some wanted me to cover 25-year, the PIMCO bond. That's too far out. I don't want to do that. Who's investing that long? Very few people. But Lilly came up, Eli Lilly, and I said, I haven't covered that one. Look at. This is a new high on the market. They have so many great products coming out, and their earnings are next week. I imagine they're going to do great. One of the products I really like, if a child's born deaf, they have a new drug that can somehow, I don't know how it all works, helps to reverse it in many of the cases. I mean, I had a grandfather that was deaf, so I'm definitely attuned to that. And you can see how the market just picking itself up like that. Higher lows, higher highs, bullish, right? So until you come back and you take out the 614.82, I'm looking at the market on a friendly basis. What I don't like is the 18-week average is underneath that number. So a break there, and I'm not saying it's going there right away, that would be a $60 break or a 10% drop in price, but that would be problematic for the market. It would put it into a stall if that should happen. And the other part that you want to be cautious about, I know there's exuberance everywhere and everybody feels great about these markets. I don't change my opinion. A chart's a chart. And And when you're over upper Bollinger Bands, generally you can come into the market under the band if you've got a bit of patience. And that's what I'd be looking at. And you're overbought. You don't have an embedded reading. So all this up is setting itself up for something that if it doesn't get the numbers this week that the market wants it to get, you could get a correction. In addition, it is not screaming, in my opinion. You just jump in here ahead of the earnings. No, you're over the Bollinger Band and you're overbought. Microsoft, you know that this is one of my favorites. I just think it's going to be the blowout of the year. I think it'll be on your list. It just keeps moving on up. Embedded reading. First hard break in the market. I promise you, I'm all over this one, looking to find a way in for people now, if they're not in. Regional banks. I don't buy, when you hear these explanations, this was an outlier on the New York Community Bank. I think there's much more coming your way. I can drive around a big city like Chicago, and there, down in the LaSalle district, there's too many empty office buildings. I mean, during the day, they're not lit up. There's big vacancies. That's Chicago. What about Philadelphia, Boston? What about LA, New York, parts of New York? Yeah. Not everything's good, and I think that there's going to be the day of reckoning because here you get all these strong jobs numbers. That doesn't break interest rates right away. The people that are thinking March, they're wrong. The people that are thinking April or May could be in that wrong time frame. June has the right feel right now, but we have to get a lot of data. Between now and later, 6 months out, how do I know what the data looks like? I know enough of the data to know it's not March. And I'll stay data dependent. It has served me well in serving you. So as I look at this market, I can see the first challenge of 46.78 coming, but I'm warning you, this market could be a lower Bollinger Band number if it picks up momentum. All it needs to do is close under 46.78 to get the bear trend confirmed next week. In MCHI, China, don't believe all this word you hear that, oh, that's there and it's going to improve. Does that look like an improving chart? I hope you tell me no. You have a bearish embedded reading. Rallies in the market sold. That's what I believe they'll be sold. But I do not tell traders to sell under a Bollinger Band. I think you can do better coming in over that. Then we come to the industrial sector, which is still, the chart's still doing very well. We know individual industries have been hurt, but the sector here, bingo, still acting good. You have an embedded reading. When the red line closes under 79, at that point, I'll be looking for price in the 18-day average to come together. Barring that, it's still systems go to the upside on this. Then we get to the energy sector, and you can see there is no trend. You have a higher high, lower low scenario. You'd gotten oversold. We got to bounce off of that into the neutral territory here. Now, if this week's low is taken out, that will put you under the 100-day average and the 18-week average, and you open the door for 80.16 again. I don't see anything on the chart that can turn it up. In UUP, we have higher lows, higher highs. And it's, by the way, it's still not bullish. You'll say, what? You're under the 18-week average of closes. You're under the 100. It's a bounce in a market. I think longer term, the dollar is going down, long term. Short term up. I had a goal in the futures of the 104 zone, as traders know that follow me in the morning update. I didn't think it was going to make it this week. It got to 103.64 and didn't do anything. It took today's report to send it right up there. And you look where the market stopped. I think you'll be amazed that it's right in that area. By the way, today, the U.S., we did attack Iran. Iran surrogates. In, as I understand it, Syria and Iraq. We will find out more. So that phase has begun. Do I think it's important? No. Do I think we warned everybody, get everything of importance out of the way? Yes. So this is the best telegraphed, hey, get your butt out of there, we're coming, and you can get your key people moved. And that's pretty much what I think occurred. In the gold market, well, what's gold's enemy? A high dollar and high interest rates, because gold doesn't pay anything. Now, the Fed keeping interest rates higher for longer, because March is off the table, What does that do? That's a headwind in the market. So gold didn't respond all that much. For the week it was up, but it was down today. In Netflix, this is just what I told you, the king of the streaming companies. So would I tell you to buy over a Bollinger Band? Most certainly not. But on the first good correction, and like everything in life, there will be corrections. You've just had a slew of information. Now what we have going into the next 2 weeks, lots of earnings reports. So be aware of that. Tesla, big problems. Down to the lower Bollinger Band, got a market that's oversold, and you're liable to get a bearish crossover where the 18-week average for the first time in a very long time, back into March a year ago. We're liable to get it underneath it, and that's not a good sign for this stock at all. Uber reports this coming week. I would expect it's great. I mean, this company's firing on every cylinder. It's sort of like what Zuckerberg did. They took this company and they rethought it, and bingo, they're getting everything going. I like that a lot. Now, uranium. I keep hearing CNBC. Has anybody paid attention to uranium? It's doubled this year and so on and so forth. Yeah. And why? I know I was one of the first here telling you, you watch. You're going to hear more about us opening small, mini nuclear plants. Illinois, there's some of them on the drawing boards right now. It makes so much sense. You want to get away from fossil fuel in certain safe areas. Keyword, safe areas, low areas, not where there's high population and so on. I think you got to look at all that. Then we get to Google. This is not doing well at all. So somehow they're missing on this AI. Market was down 6% for a week, and it couldn't get carried by everything around it using artificial intelligence. Not a good program, something to probably avoid right there. As you can see, I have all kinds of interesting charts here. It's fun because I do that a lot, and I keep them empty. I want to remind you that if you're interested in getting my morning, and the word is my morning spider ETF. This is a standalone if you want. You come in, before 10 o'clock, you have my thoughts. Buy here, sell there. Here's the daily chart. Here's the weekly. I am not going through the fundamentals. I am going through the chart action. This is just some of what we cover. I rotate it all the time. Your subscription includes, you can write me. I'll do an individual chart for you on a couple of them if you need it. I'm not going to do it every day, but I will take time out and get things done. I answer my subscribers. You'll get bonus videos. I'm finishing up my whole charting course now. So as I finish up, we'll go right back into those in a big way. I've got a lot of years of doing this. I've owned my own stock firms, commodity firms, been around the horn in this a big way. If you'd like to see somebody that looks at charts, got the years of experience, does it every day, can explain it in a way you might want, and give you ideas on things you might be asking for, give it a try. IraEpstein.com. You can move your cursor up here. It'll go there. Remember to go to the word research, take a look at it. Bingo. It's easy to get in. Once you're in, I think you'll get hooked. I'm Ira. You take care.